the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
Hey, it marks the return of the genre jar again. Jar, we're getting
Your
genre.
fingers.
I love that we all do jazz hands when we say that. It's like genres are.
Which no one can see it because this is
I know.
audio. Before we talk about this month's selection, which was Slice of Life, voted on by the Twitters, we're going to talk about upcoming dramas at the end of July and in August. What's coming up? What's everyone excited for? I know what I'm excited for.
And what I'm excited for, too.
I'm excited. I mean, it's the end of this month, the end of July, but that King's Avatar looks really good.
It's really good.
So I'm hopeful that I'll find the time to actually watch it. That would, because I mean, C-dramas, so what, 15 million episodes?
Probably.
Maybe.
But like they're usually shorter episodes. They're not like an hour.
True. I mean, it's not like
Cruising
50 episodes on ESPN or something. But
I have an answer for that. 40 episodes.
that's not too
That's not terrible.
bad.
Nah.
It's the same as Go-Go Squid, and I am currently cruising through that drama. Like 2 episodes a day? Not enough. Give me more.
I mean, everyone on our time list is
Right.
cruising through
Everybody's
with that.
watching it.
So all about it is it's objectively not that great of a show, but for some reason,
But is it entertaining? That's all it
it's
needs to
so
be.
entertaining. And like
the
you
only
learn
reason
so much
dramas are
about-
around.
learn so much about how everyone is dedicated to the glory of China at all times, guys. We should all think about China in all of our everyday, just China. Yeah, what else is coming up?
I'm really excited for The Naked Director, which is a J-drama that's Netflix produced. A while back, they had put out a press release that they were talking about. I think it was when they first mentioned Rookie Historian, that they were like kind of angling more to get more Japanese content. So this was part of it. There was a couple of dramas that they were solidified that they had as like one of their originals. And so there's another one coming, but this one is going to be here. I don't really know anything about it, but like it is, the picture is of a naked guy, like in a director's chair.
Oh boy.
But if it's a J-drama that's accessible, I'm going to watch it no matter what, even if it's just for, in my mind, having that watch and then like a thumbs up on it will tell Netflix that I want more of this.
Yeah.
Then just like be like, give me more, which I feel like Netflix might
Yeah.
try to let Biggie out of the park on J-dramas.
And like,
Fine.
speaking of spicy, there's another drama coming out in August from Thailand for GMM-TV called 3 Will Be Free, which I assume will be on YouTube because GMM-TV puts all of their stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
With English subs, and it looks spicy as hell. From what I can gather from the previews, okay, it is about a male stripper prostitute and his female stripper prostitute friend who are hooking up with the son, with like the nerdy son of a mafioso, but they're on the run. Oh, it looks wild. It looks absolutely wild. So a little polyamorous bisexual threesome going on, like everything. And which is like, I'm going to be honest, like GMM-TV usually goes more for the innocent, side of things.
Feels a little more GMM-TV 25.
Like GMM-TV late night. Like, it looks a little wild.
After hours.
It's going to be like, it's not going to be nearly as spicy as it looks like.
Oh, probably
It's going to be like, oh, shut up. Like,
they put the only spicy bits in the preview.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Just take fun in it, and I just love him. Just little cheeks, and has Joss in it, who everyone else loves. I have no opinions on Joss whatsoever.
I adore him. I mean, I haven't seen him in anything other than, like, pictures, but he's huge. Like, he's so tall, and he's so cute.
Very,
but, like, he is very handsome.
Very buff, shall we say? Very beautiful.
Parts of the preview are very Magic Mike Thailand, and he's like, the Channing Tatum.
Yeah, with everyone, like he's just hitting on everyone. Like we're gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Also from Thailand is Endless Love is coming out with Lee Thanet, and it looks generic and probably pretty boring, but I love Lee, so I will probably watch it because
Why
I
not?
love Lee and his little apple cheek.
For me, Moment of 18, which Moonbin is in.
Yes.
He's a supporting character, but I think he actually has a bigger role in it than I first assumed. So that's good. He's not like the main top 3. As of this recording day, it's Vicky. It's finally on Vicky, but waiting for subs. So hopefully by the time this recording comes out, maybe we'll be able to watch a couple of episodes of it. It looks like, to tie into our topic though, it does look like a slice of life type of school drama as far as vibe of it goes. So
cool.
And I'm still waiting for the end of the month for When the Devil Calls Your Name, because that looks amazing. So good. I don't know if it's good yet, but I'm assuming it is because
it looks good.
Well, and those actors are great.
So
right. I think that the show Mellow Is My Nature, it'll come out in August. I think it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that last month, but it was pushed into August. But that one's that's also actually probably going to be a slice of life, because I've had it like compared it to like Age of Youth type vibe. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit older in terms of.
And Age of Youth was so good.
I'm curious to see Welcome to Life. That one was pushed from July too. And it looks interesting with like alternate universes or something. I don't know.
And Rain in a dual role.
Yeah. It just sounds interesting. I don't know. One of those ones that could either be really cool or
not.
OCN's coming out with a new drama at the end of August. Two new ones. Strangers from Hell and Everyone Lies. It's OCN, so I'll watch it,
Yeah. The Strangers from Hell is the one with Wook and Im Shuan, and looks creepy and great, and like the teasers have been perfect. But then also like Everyone Lies, I haven't really followed like what the story's about, but it's the one with Eamon Key in it. So
which that's all you have to say.
Like it sells itself.
Yeah.
Like it's like okay, like
you're like fine.
OCN, Lehman Key, okay, like say no more. I don't need to see any previews. That's all I need to know.
Female lead is the one that just was in the Shuan drama, which I don't know her name, but I know she's a fan. Like people like her.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
Where she was like a person on the campaign trail, and he was the
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just ended like this month.
Yeah, my citizens or something.
Yeah. My fellow citizens.
My fellow citizens. That's it. Yeah.
There we go.
She's really nice lip.
It should be good. Are we gonna find a place to have it? Who knows? Currently, Vicky hasn't said they're picking it up, but we've got to land it.
Yeah. And I mean, and both Vicky and Netflix, I feel like lately they've been very last minute in their announcing whether they're getting this stuff. We'll be sitting there going like, this starts in 3 days. Who's got it?
It makes you wonder if there's like a secret room somewhere that they're having arm wrestling tournaments or something to figure out.
It's just like Vicky and Netflix just sitting there like, all right.
And then Cocoa's just like laughing in the corner. Or something.
Yeah, they're like, it's not part of my 3 bye.
Another one I want to watch is I Want to Hear Your Song.
That looks interesting.
It kind of looks maybe pretty serious, but we'll see.
Yeah, it does. It looks more serious than I was expecting it to.
Yeah.
Like, especially now that there's been a little bit more teasers coming out for it.
A Chinese fantasy one coming out.
Yeah.
Great Master. I like Chinese fantasy stuff. What I like about them is usually how cheesy they are. Yeah, I just like them. Right now, I'm like loving the Untamed right now, and I tried to watch Ice Fantasy again. I failed again, but you know what? One of these days. I'm gonna finish Ice Fantasy. I swear to God.
I tend to like the modern C-dramas better. I know a lot of people really hate them. There's one coming out very end of July called Keep Going, You're the Best, and it looks just cute and heartwarming. Like the posters kind of give me vibes from that My Story for You last year that I watched, but it's like about a actor who debuted on like a variety show or something, like some kind of contest show, and he was supposed to be so great and everything, and it's been about 10 years, and he's considered like a washed up has-been at this point. But he's got this like plucky team of like, you know, people who are still trying to get him back up into the, you know, get him jobs and get him famous again kind of thing. So it looks like it's going to have like a nice little family aspect. And, you know, yeah, it just sounds sweet and heartwarming. So hopefully it's actually good and somebody picks it up with subtitles. Hot pot.
Well, like I'm telling you, Viki's been picking up Chinese dramas left, right, and center, so.
It's insane.
And to be honest, like, the Chinese dramas get subbed pretty quickly, but I think that's due to volume of Chinese to English speakers in the world.
I'm looking forward to Catch You Rung, because it has Kim Sun-ho in it, and I will watch literally anything with Kim Sun-ho in it when it comes out.
We talked about this, like, way back when we were watching 100 Days. We were like, oh, man, we really need to watch him in a lead. It's, like, probably going to be, like, a crime-esque drama, so...
Which is like crime-esque is usually the version of crime that I really like.
Yeah, exactly.
So with him in it and then that type of vibe, pretty much anything that's silly, I will probably check out. So
it's gotta be because it, like it's him. He could do serious stuff, like I'm sure, like it's fine. And he was also in that one little like mini drama, web drama that like he was pretty serious with that girl that we were just talking about with from the Shiwan show, but like I feel like he's solidly a character actor, so I feel like it's gonna be more comedy.
Yeah,
like that's what he's trying.
Be able to flex it some. Yeah. Like it feels like a waste if you don't have some of that in your show. Not that he couldn't pull it off, because I bet he could. But
that's what's coming up. But now we're gonna talk about stuff that already exists that we have watched. So we put up the genre jar. We randomly selected 4. Well. And I say we as the royal we. It was Sky. Sky randomly selected 4.
Yeah, Sky owns the jar.
Yeah, she creates it in my house. Jar, and you know, she posts pictures of
it like a pet rock.
Yeah, so it's there. And we put up the 4 at a poll to see what people wanted to hear about, and the answer was slice of life. So then my husband asked me, "What is slice of life?" And then I realized that I don't actually. It's sort of like pornography, like. You know, you can't describe it, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Jesse's big into slice of
life. And I feel like it's real true slice of life. You see it more in anime as a specific genre. Like, and it doesn't really translate a lot to other dramas.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of like slice of life mangas out there that I read. Like I'm reading one right now called The Way of the House Husband, and it's just mwah. I hope they make it into a J-drama, because it would be hilarious, because the plot of it is an ex-gang, like Yakuza leader who is like really feared by all the, you know, other Yakuza, falls in love with like a businesswoman and then retires from his life of crime and dedicates himself to being like the best stay-at-home husband who ever lived. And it's just so good.
I could watch that. 100%.
Like the male version of Caution Hazardous Wife.
We're going to be a little bit loose in our interpretation of life, just to kind of broaden everybody's like pool. Yeah. Like kind of more of just like straight life, I would say. Like
what we're going with is realistic.
Realistic. Because slice of life technically, it's like if you just pull like one moment out of life and it doesn't have anything. It's very mundane, very boring. There could be like nothing that like there's no like arc to the story. It just flat stays one thing. It could be just like of one day or 1 week. So if we pull into like some of the other life stuff that's a little bit broader, kind of help us out a bit.
A little bit more plot.
Concept of like there not being necessarily an overarching plot line, you know, like every episode tends to have its own little plot because it's doing its own thing.
Life doesn't have an overarching plot.
No, not generally.
You know, there's not paranormal elements. There's not these like super elements like the girl finding the rich like Shable antics ensue. It's very like kind of more real, down to earth.
It's like this
kind of a glimpse of someone's life.
This could be someone's diary.
Yeah.
You know, like could be someone's diary just talking about stuff that they're doing. All right. Who wants to start? Any volunteers?
Going along with kind of what you guys were saying about you kind of know it when you see it. It's like that's what I did. I went through my my drama list of what I watched, and I was like, no. Oh yeah, that. Like it's just sort of like you see it. But when we first said it, the very first thing that popped into my head was TVN's Live, which I mean, theoretically, you could kind of call it a crime drama because it is about police officers, but it's more like a slice of life about police officers.
Yeah, it's more like police officers dealing with their jobs.
Police officers have lives, and you know, not everything that goes on is interesting or funny or scary or, you know, and they're dealing with
of some type.
Lots of little crimes, and there was no like overarching like criminal mastermind behind all of the little stories that they were dealing with, because real life criminals exist and crime happens. And you know, I would say for anybody who's interested in watching it who hasn't, I would like to issue a trigger warning for sexual assault. A lot of the cases had to do with sexual crime.
Because there's a lot of sexual crimes out there.
And it's like skewed really realistic. Not just like not fantasy, but like a little bit dreamy of a cop life. Like it's definitely skewed to like
the cop really sucks. Like
I mean, like even in terms of like them going through, because they show how they get to be a cop too. So like the struggles of that and like how it plays with their families and that sort of thing.
Becoming a cop in Korea is a lot more difficult than becoming a cop in the United States.
It was interesting too because it gave some insight into the background, like what goes on, how it's different, like how police work is different in Korea than it is here. You know, sometimes you watch a crime drama and you're like, why are they doing that? What is going on here? But then you're like actually watching them like stand in this boring long lineup to like check out their guns from the guy who like keeps all the guns, because they don't get to keep their gun in their like desk drawer, because that's not how it works.
And the first bullet is always a blank, so you can fire a warning shot.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's so neat to see all that inner working going on, and then to see basically you're following these 3 rookie cops as they're learning from their mentors, and to see how they're like think that they know everything because they graduated from school, so now I'm smart and I know what to do and you should give me a gun right away, and they're like, I think we're gonna keep you with the taser for a while because you need to sort yourself out.
Like even getting the taser is a big deal on the show. Like
so,
no, it's a good. I actually just recommended. Someone was asking me like, oh, like, you know, I have Netflix, like, and I've heard you're obsessed with Asian dramas, like what one do you think I would like? And I was like, Live. You should look up Live.
It's got a solid cast, and Kwang Soo is in it, and I really like feel like you should watch that show because of Kwang Soo, to actually see him in a completely different role than you've ever seen him, because I feel like he does really well in this show, and it's kind of like
his personality is always played up on variety shows as this like bumbling idiot, but he's actually a really accomplished, really good actor. So when you see him acting, you're like, oh wait,
this is what Kwang Soo is.
Like, like, because everything I've seen him in, like, he's been the best part of it for the most part. Even Entourage, which was so questionable, but he was fun on that. And then there's Collective Invention, that he's in a fish costume the whole time, and he's still amazing. And then, and what's the other one?
It's Okay, That's Love.
It's Okay, That's Love. He's also incredible. Like, he's just so good.
He's very good.
He's really good in that.
Like, his personality as a buffoon on variety shows is not telling the full Kwang Soo story.
No, definitely not. So, Jessie, you going next?
Yeah, if you know me, you'll probably guess what you think I'm going to say, because currently, like, my favorite show of all time is technically, like, a life slice of life, but I'm not going to talk about that one. I'm going to talk about a J-drama. It's called The Reason I Can't Find My Love, which it's, like, one of my top J-dramas, and it's about this girl who is a lighting technician, which, like, from the get-go, I was, like, super into, just because that's, like, my thing, my job. Like, it correlates really well. And 2 other females. So the the lead character is Naze Karina. It also has a girl who like right now is currently in the other J-drama that I'm watching, the Overtime show. There's this group of like 3 women who kind of fall into each other's lives because they're all single and they're all working and they just need a house to live in. So they all become like housemates. And it deals with them and their relationships with each other and relationships between their coworkers and like just their work life in general. And like it touches on a lot of their relationships, like dating wise. Every story kind of like comes back to them just as a group of women, just like kind of being there for each other. And even though they like, you know, come to this house not knowing each other, like kind of how they really develop their relationship and how like they keep each other afloat, because there's a lot of things that happen. You know, there's like one character who's having an affair, but then there's another character who's like just out, like she's like kind of like the youngest girl who doesn't know what she wants to do in life, and she's just trying to find love, and she keeps on kind of ending up with these really crappy guys, and she just like has no self-esteem because of that. And like through the drama you see how she gains more confidence because of being with the other women in the house. And they kind of like, it's really cool because they kind of just like are very chill about everything. They're like, drama happens, but it's not so crazy. And one of their like pastimes is literally they just kind of hang out in the living room drinking, and it's just like really cool. I love the relationship between the 3 women. There's actually a 4th woman in the story that also kind of plays, because she's like a mentor to one of the characters, and she does kind of add, she's like an older woman, so she kind of adds a lot to the story as well. But just, I feel like it has really solid female relationships in the drama, and especially the way that the story turns out. I'm not gonna like spoil things, but like I felt it worked really well. I don't feel that they betrayed the females' relationship with each other, which happens sadly. That's what I really loved about it, because it was like, you know, it's a found family, but it's a found family of women who are just trying to survive, and then also like by being there for each other, they help the others, even if they're like, that wasn't their intention. Sadly, it was on Drama Fever.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but I wanted to talk about it because it's like one of my favorite dramas. I'm sure you can go offline, off the distant sea to find it.
But also go request it on your platform.
Please go request it. I feel like Vicky, it would be a J-drama that Vicky would be okay with getting.
And what's the title again?
It's The Reason I Can't Find My Love. Yeah, request it for me, please, because I'll watch it again and again and again. I just also think it's like, you know, you don't find dramas with good, like, solid female characters that aren't, like, super wrought with, like, everyone going for the same guy, and then it just, everybody breaking up, and just, like, you know, it has that stuff, but it's, like, a little bit more natural. So then that's also what plays into this being kind of, like, the life slice of life. I'm sorry, like, I'm telling you a show that it's hard
you can't
to
watch.
But maybe, you know.
So, for me, I decided to go with one that you can watch. And I'm sure a lot of people out there have watched it because it was very popular when it came out. And that is Reply 1988. Really, all of the Reply series are very slice of life, but I've watched them all, and I really like 88 the best. As much as people harp on the ending, I actually liked it. I had no problems with it whatsoever. If you haven't seen it, it's the story of a group of teenagers who are all friends and live in the same neighborhood in 1988, right before the Olympics, and then the preceding years afterwards. Going through, you know, the foibles of life, you know, falling in love, going to school, going to the army. Like, literally, it's got everything. And then it has, like, stuff with their parents, which is just adorable. Like, the parents are ridiculous. And then, it's just so good. I don't even know what to say. Like, that's all you can do. It's just like a bunch of teenagers doing teenager
stuff.
And I will say this. It was the first K-drama that I saw that had a boner joke in it. Like a boner sight gag. I was like taken aback when it happened. I was like, whoa, whoa, like, too spicy. But it was actually really funny. They're hiding from, like, teachers because they snuck out in the night and they weren't supposed to, and they're like, it's like the main girl and one of the guys, and they're like in like a little alley all squished together, and the guy's like, oh no, and he's like trying to like turn himself away, and she's like, oh, I'm just gonna pretend I don't know what's happening right now. But it's really delightful, and it has like this really lovely plot line involving Park Bo-gum's character, who is he doesn't go to school because he's a professional baduk player. Little Misang vibe put in there, but he succeeded, where it's like they still try to include him in everything. And then she becomes his manager, and she goes to China with him, despite the fact, like the main girl, despite the fact that she does not speak Chinese, but she's trying to like make it nice for him, so it just shows her down at the counter, like gesticulating wildly and being like, room cold, make hot, like warm room, like, and it's just so, like, the whole show is just so heartwarming, and like a sort of a sense of authenticity to it that I found that the other Reply series didn't quite have. Like, the other Reply series are really good, but they had more of a drama feel to them. Whereas this one had like a real, like, these felt like authentic, real characters, even though she's like really over the top and ridiculous. It felt like a real sort of over-the-top and ridiculous. That way. Anyway, the show is very intriguing. You can watch it on Viki, so it's available, and it's really good. And 2 of the actors in it started dating in real life, and as of right now are still together, so...
Aww. That's Natalia's like side genre or trope love. Actors falling in love.
I think it's so cute. I love it. I love it. The show Blood, terrible. The fact that the 2 main leads got married and are still married in real life, adorable.
They're so adorable.
So everyone made it really easy on me. Really easy.
By not taking yours?
By not taking mine. Because it has to be talked about.
We should have let you go first since you have the fewest number of dramas. Like,
yeah,
that's fine. I had pre-gamed with Jessie about this, so I was prepared for all types of stuff. But no one said it, so I get to say because this is my first live.
Yay! I think it's like, is that on all of our like top 10 lists? Like, I feel like
it didn't end up on my list just because that day I just didn't put it there. But you know, some days it does. Like, it just depends.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
I mean, it really is one of my top favorite dramas, and I was kind of hesitant to call it Slice of Life, but it's actually there on my drama list. Slice of Life, so.
It's legit Slice of Life.
It is.
If you haven't watched it, and if it looks like maybe boring to you, it's not boring. It's really, really not. And it probably is, for me, since I really have not watched that many Slice of Life shows. Definitely have not watched any straight up, more mundane, real Slice of Life stuff. So I have watched a lot of dramas, just I haven't gotten around to those types yet.
Yeah, that's fine.
The only reason I watched, because this is my first life, is because everybody was pressuring me to do so. It was like, no, drop
everybody. She looked knowingly at all of us in this chat.
It was like literally our chat.
So I caved. And
aren't you happy you did?
I think I stayed up like way too late watching it. I mean, I don't do that all that often, but it caused me to because it was very that way. Though the romantic aspect of it is charming as well. I think that the insight into the way people can do life differently than maybe the general person, like the general expected way of people to live life. I think it's nice to see different perspectives, and they do a lot of different perspectives within it, and very, they don't make it a joke. It's like everyone lives life differently, and it's okay. And having that message throughout is really nice. And it feels very positive in the end, even though a lot of it's kind of tough to get through as far as like life is hard and going through stuff and making certain decisions is not an easy thing. But there's a lot of friendship. There's a lot of, eventually love. But it's kind of more about how you choose to go through life. And that's pretty slice of life-ish. But really, I mean, I'm willing to recommend that to almost anybody. I think there are some people that maybe don't want that type of... I wouldn't say it's a slow show, but some people that maybe don't like action or something, like it wouldn't be their cup of tea or whatever. But anyone that's okay with other types of shows, I think that most people would really enjoy it. And it is if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it, and you'll probably... I think everybody probably enjoys different aspects of it than the next person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I would recommend? Joining our coffee. We're putting up extra stuff, good times, support the podcast, yada yada. If you listen to this podcast, you've heard me segue into this before. Coffee, kofi.com/certified Nuna. If you don't have the money to support us, just, reblog our podcast for other people you think might want to listen to it. All right, now back to the show.
Because this is my first life. It's good. Everyone should watch.
Also,
I agree.
To bookend it back with what we started with upcoming dramas, Lee Min Ki.
Yes.
Lee Min Ki. Oh, yeah. Yes.
All day, every day.
Yes. Lee Min Ki killing it.
Mm-hmm.
If someone has happened to watch A Million Stars in the Sky or whatever that show is called with the bazillion different Jung So Min.
Yeah.
She's
so,
pretty
well,
good.
Strange if you're not into depressing stuff. She was also in Father is Strange. She's wonderful. She's
been on a bunch of stuff. She's in the Kiss, the Korean
Playful Kiss.
Yeah.
Playful Kiss is on my recommended.
She's the best part of that series.
She's the best part of that show.
Super cute. Like, she is definitely out. This is a side note. Out of all the Kiss series that I've seen, she is my favorite portrayal of that.
She's the least stupid. But I'm saying that with like a grain of salt.
Because she is.
She's still really stupid.
I mean, like, it's written in her character. We're not just like...
Yeah, I mean, that's across the board, every version of that.
Yeah, they see.
So.
Just for all of you reel-to-reel fans like me, she's also dating Lee Jun, who was her co-star in Father is Strange. My ultimate.
Taking off two of them.
Literally every time I watch something and I don't realize he's in it and he shows up on screen, I literally like screech like, Lee Jun! My husband is like, yes, your Korean boyfriend's on screen, I think. Like, I just love Lee Jun. Lee Jun-gi. Lee Jun. Different dude.
Yeah.
Different dude.
Yeah. Different
dude.
And Isom's in that one too, right? Because this is my first life. Isom. I mean, there's just like so many people in it, and it's so good. And the girls are good. I know that there's a lot of people who are unhappy with the way Because This Is My First Life ends. But what I find interesting is that, like, I didn't love the ending. I didn't hate the way it ended. The couple of episodes getting there were a little squicky for me. But it didn't, like, ruin the drama for me. It didn't go from, like, being a 10 to being a 6 or something. It didn't, not bad. I think it dropped to, like, a 9.5 for me. But just seeing some other people talking about it on Twitter this past week, I realized that, like, what bothers me about the ending is not what bothers other people about the ending. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've skipped, like, 3 conversations today alone about it, where I was going to jump in and go, that's not what bugs me. And then I thought, it's not worth my time. Because I'm not going to change people's minds about this, even though I'm clearly right and you're clearly wrong. But
I think the ending was fine, and it didn't betray the characters, which everybody stands on, like, why they don't like things that I've seen. There's probably others that I haven't seen, so that's like a disclaimer. Mm-hmm. But the biggest one that I see constantly about the ending would make it so that you've betrayed the character, and they multiple times talked about it. And I think it also it doesn't bother me. I feel like a lot of people, when they're deciding that they don't like what was happening, it's because they personally wouldn't choose what she did. And just because you on the outside can see what is wrong and what should happen does not mean that this character should be that way. And I don't feel like you should betray what they've, like, established multiple times during the series is how she handles things just to make it to this, like, perfect thing. I guess it bothers me more because she's closer to what my personality is. So you're like, then it becomes as like, oh, but I would have probably done the same exact thing as she does. So then if you're saying that, like, it's unrealistic, like, who am I then? Like,
I think that's one of the things that I struggle with is the thing that I've seen frequently today in these conversations had to do with marriage and and choosing marriage and stuff. And I'm getting a lot of those conversations with Search WWW too and stuff. And just a lot of people who are very like almost anti-marriage in their stance. And as somebody who's married with children, and that was kind of always my goal and my dream. So like I totally get certain characters, and like that one character, and Because This Is My First Life, who that's her goal, and I get it because that was me in my early 20s. So it doesn't bother me.
People want different things in life, everyone.
Yeah,
and
that's
I love to see that. I love this. That's what I really like about this show, is that you saw that. You saw different things.
Right, and that's the thing about Because This Is My First Life. I understand that, you know, people might get upset about the end or whatever, but realistically, the entire show throughout, from square one, is all about how people can live life differently from each other and still be friends and respectful. Like,
well,
every character is doing stuff differently than each other. Like, and they're all just living life. That's what it comes down to. It is
ultimately, if you want to look at it, it's about a marriage contract. And it's about marriage. With all three characters, it's about what do they see marriage as, what could marriage be, what are different ways that you could do marriage. Like, that marriage doesn't have to mean one thing. And I think I like that. I like that aspect of it. So.
Yeah. I really
it's flawed, and I like that characters are flawed. Definitely what I like most about Slice of Life is that it's character driven, and that's the natural story that I go towards. I really like characters.
Yeah. Well, if you were on Coffee, you would have just heard our second picks. And they're good ones. They're good ones. But if not, you know, why not? You like listening to us? Like if you made it this far in the podcast, it's obvious you like what's going on here. Anyway, we hope that you have a fantastic week. You can hear us wherever you're listening to us now, but also we're on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google. Literally, if there's a place that you can send podcasts to, we're probably there.
And if we're not, there's an email in the info box. Use it and tell us, and we'll try to get on it.
Do our darned best, because we want y'all to listen. We want y'all to enjoy this shenanigans we've come up with. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week, and enjoy some Slice of Life dramas this week, perhaps. All right, goodbye.
Bye.
I also love how we all wave, despite no one being able to see it.